Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Monday. We got some financial results from Bitfarms, Mawson, and Sphere 3D. Sphere 3D I was way off, but I know why. We'll take a look at it. Bitfarms, I was really close to what they were reported. Mawson, I was off by a little bit. So we'll get into the numbers there. We'll take a look at also Bitcoin, how it did today. We'll take a look at the miners, how they did today as well. And then we'll get into obviously the financial results and we'll call it a day. So as always, not financial advice. You guys know the drill here. This is the companies I'm invested in and the coins. Excuse me. So let's get into the miners here. So Annie was actually down a little bit today, 4.76% on the day to $1. It did obviously bounce after hours after the report came out for the quarterly results. They are up 7% in the after hours to $1.07. Argo was down 1.17% to 59 cents. Digital was down 6.4% to $1.61, up a little bit in the after hours to $1.65. Bitfarms reported obviously also, so it was down 7.88% to $1.87. It's up a little bit in the after hours, another 3.21% to $1.93. Cleanspark was down 6.65% to $5.90, up a little bit in the after hours to $5.91. Core Scientific was down quite a bit, 9.41% to $3.85. Digihost was down 3.57% to $1.35. DMG was down it was up 1.72% to 29.5 cents. Hive Blockchain was down 7.62% to 85 cents. It's up a little bit in the after hours right now, 4.4% to 89 cents right now. Hut 8 was down 9.12% to $2.49. It is up slightly in the after hours right now. Iris Energy was, way down, 36.45% on the day. It was down to $4.90. That one got crushed today. Luxxfolio was up 11.02% to 13 cents. Marathon was down 9.39% to $10.32. It's up a little bit in the after hours to $10.44. Mawson was up nicely today. Mawson also reported their quarterly results, and they were up 14.57% to $2.91, up a little bit more in the after hours to $3. Riot Blockchain was down 9.79% to $7.19, and it's up a little bit in the after hours to $7.25. And Stronghold was down 6.64% to $2.11, down a little bit more in the after hours to $2.10. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin is trading at 90. Wow, I wish that was the case. 29,870 right now. Looking at the 1 hour chart on the RSI, we can see here at the RSI going back to about, where was it that I was looking at? It was right around here. And we are actually about, where was I looking at that? I don't know, this was going back further a little bit. Looking at the price here, right around here, we're up a little bit higher than the RSI. We've come back down. We've seen this also a little bit here, where we're kind of higher on the RSI, but also lower on the price. So it's kind of a mixed bag right now as far as what's going to happen with Bitcoin, at least on the 1 hour chart. On the 4 hour chart, we can see here that we've obviously come back down a little bit. We did have a little pump, a little rally in the day today. Into this morning, obviously, and then we've kind of fallen back down. But it looks like we are still trading flat sideways on the RSI here. We can see it here. We're just trading sideways. Same thing is happening here. We're trading sideways a little bit. We did have a little, obviously, a bump here, but nothing major. On the daily chart, we can see not much action here. Obviously, we've come back down yesterday, or actually today, and then obviously into the new day. We did go up on Sunday a little bit. Monday, obviously, we went down, back down. So it's kind of trading sideways here. We're at least above our kind of support, semi-support of 28,700. We'll see if this can contain or if we're going to fall even further. RSI doesn't look like it's too oversold. It's right in the neutral zone. So we'll see how that plays out. Ethereum is at 2,030 right now, and it is following suit as well with Bitcoin. Looking at the 1 hour chart, you can see here that we were lower here on the RSI and we've gone up higher here while the price has increased just a little bit, which is typically isn't a good sign. I think we may be coming down a little bit on Ethereum. in the coming hours here into tomorrow. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin network hash rate really quick as well while we're at it, see what's going on there. And we are seeing obviously that we have peaked here on May 5th, and we've come down a little bit to 219 here on the 7-day average raw values. Looks like we may have peaked here on the, May 15th, we peaked at 254 million. That was a new high. Previous high was 248 million, so we are up 248, about 6 million higher than we were prior, so miners are getting installed, it looks like. All right, so let's take a look at Sphere 3D first, then we'll take a look at Mawson and Bitfarms last. So Sphere 3D reports first quarter 2022 financial results and operational updates. And here are the results. So first quarter revenue was 1.4 million compared to 0.9 million for the first quarter of 2021. Operating cost expenses for the quarter were 16.5 million, which is a lot, compared to 2.2 million for the first quarter of 2021. Going down here, digital mining revenue was only 0.7 million. I had them at like almost 6 million. We'll take a look at the numbers, why I had them at that. And that was with them possibly merging with Gryphon. That never materialized. I did not delete that information. I've updated the sheet now and we'll update it going forward here. Bitcoin production during the first quarter of 2022 was 18.15 Bitcoins. This is the first quarter the company has produced Bitcoin. Net loss from operations was 14.6 million, or a net loss of 23 cents per share, compared to a net loss from operations of 2.6 million, or a net loss of 27 cents per share. So obviously a decrease in loss, which is a good thing. I think that might be why the stock's up a little bit today. Let's see if there's anything comments. Here we go. Okay. So here's some important news, obviously, on the new miners that they announced they were going to be purchasing. So here's a statement from the CEO, Ms. Trumpeter. We are disappointed that we have not yet received the 12 NM440 test units from NuMiner. It is important to keep the NuMiner arrangement in perspective. The agreement is to acquire the NM440 fleet, was a low-risk option to purchase what was presented as the best mining technology in the industry. If the NM440 units are not received or fail to perform according to NuMiner specifications, the company can cancel the contract. So at least that's a good thing. We haven't heard anything from NuMiner as far as when those miners are going to be coming out, if they're coming out. Right, there was a lot of speculation as far as, are these a scam possibly. We know that the technology is out there. It's whether or not they can get the companies that make the chips to actually go with the 3 nanometer chip size for them, which is a big ask. Continuing on here, so another quote here. Looking forward, our mining fleet will expand consistent with the amended delivery schedule below, and our production capacity will increase accordingly. We are working with Jefferies LLC, our financial advisor, to identify the most appropriate financing option to fund the expansion of our fleet, and we are exploring new growth areas in the cryptocurrency and blockchain industries, added Trumpeter. And down here, so here's where we update our numbers here. So Sphere 3D had 1,000 S19J Pro mining units installed and operational, representing about 100 petahash of capacity to the network at the end of April 2022. Through the first 4 months of 2022, the company mined a total of 30.5 Bitcoins. Sphere 3D will provide unaudited Bitcoin production and holdings updates monthly beginning in early June of this year, obviously, and as part of its quarterly results reporting. So this is actually good news because they haven't been providing that, and it's going to be good going forward to see those numbers. We can get them updated. We can be pretty close to what they're actually going to be earning for that. So that's good. And going down here, so here's their new schedule. So they already have 1,000 of those miners received and operational. May, they're saying that they're going to get 2,000 of those miners, which would get them to 300 petahash. June, another 2,000, so that would get them to 500 petahash. July, another 2,000, so now we're at 700 petahash. August, 5,000, then we get them up to 1.2 exahash. September, that would get them another 12,000, then we get them to 2.4 exahash. October is another 12,000 to 3.6 exahash. November would be another 12 to 4.8 exahash. And December, the final 12,000, which would get them to the 6,000 petahash or 6 exahash in mining. Obviously, if they added on the mining from NuMiner, that would obviously get them closer to the 32 exahash that they were planning to get to, but it doesn't look like right now that they're going to get that far. But even still, getting to 6 exahash would be really nice. It's going to be difficult. So there's a lot of obviously shipping challenges, supply chain challenges as well. We'll see if they can actually get these miners installed at these scheduled increments. So that was it. So let's take a look at my numbers here for them. So here's Sphere 3D. My mistake was I had them at approximately 4 petahash. I had 3,000 of these and 1,000 of these running at 100 terahash. That got us to 400 petahash by the end of March. That's why I had them at 6.1 million possibly in revenue. Learning now that they only have the 1,000 miners installed, 100 petahash. I did put these down here, and I had them mining basically for 12 days in January, 12 days in February, 12 days in March. That probably wasn't the case because they were probably getting those installed. I don't know what the rate of hash rate was for each month. So I kind of estimated based on the reporting of the 700,000 actual reported in earnings for that quarter. So I got them to basically 703, which is pretty close to what they reported here. We are going to be using that number obviously here, which I have to update here. And that obviously got us to a lot lower price target because we don't have any information for the prior quarters. If we did, we could obviously do some math on it. But even if it's just we're using 700,000, well, we can't even do that. Going forward, I think we'll be able to crunch some better numbers. But basically right now we're looking at possibly being at 3.8 million roughly. If everything stays the same, obviously if they get miners installed, they could obviously go up in value. But right now at a 20 multiple, they'd be at 92 cents. And right now, based on what they're earning, I have them at 17 cents. So I think they are actually way overvalued right now based on the stock price of $1. But obviously that's probably pricing in the future hash rate growth that they're reporting to the 6 exahash. But with the new miners, we would be at 32.4 exahash, right? So I'm taking out all of these here. These were part of the Gryphon possible merger. That never materialized, so we are going to cancel those right now while I'm thinking about it so I don't forget. So those are gone. Adios. No more. So going forward, we'll obviously get monthly updates from them, which will be nice as we don't have any production updates here for the past 4 months. And we'll see how things progress going forward. But other than that, at 100 petahash, okay, they're starting out. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they can actually execute on this properly and obviously have the infrastructure in place and everything else. But we'll obviously have to see the continuation of the next quarter, see how they actually install the miners, how many miners they get installed, and what they can actually mine with those. So that will obviously help us with our potential revenue numbers that they might have and where the stock price should be. Right now, we're just going off of 1 quarter, which usually we go by 4 quarters, previous quarters, 3 previous quarters in this quarter, and that's how we get our numbers. All right, so at least I can say that they are potentially going to be growing and that they reduce their net loss per share by 4 cents, which is good. So if they can keep that up, I think they're going to do pretty well going forward. But obviously, the important thing is getting the miners installed, getting above that hash rate increase each month is a must. Otherwise, you're going to be mining less each month than the prior month. All right. So let's take a look at Mawson. Mawson numbers are as follows. So Q1 2022 revenue was 19.4 million. They're up 178% versus Q1 of 2021. Q1 gross profit was 11.0 million, up 138% versus Q1 of 2021, which is also great. They mined 459 self-mined Bitcoin produced in Q1 2022. That's up 272% versus Q1 of 2021. Mawson self-mining exahash targets upgraded in March to 4 exahash online by Q3 of 2022 and 5.5 exahash online by early Q1 of 2023. So that is also good news. Going down here, we get some more data center information, strategic focus, and there was something else that I wanted to point out, I believe, or maybe not, but I thought there was. Nope, there wasn't. Okay. So that was the main points that I wanted to cover with you guys on Mawson, and let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, and we'll see how far off I was with them. So Mawson obviously reported 19.4 million. I had him at 20.1 million roughly. I was up basically 3.72% higher than where they reported. Looking at the numbers down here though, we can see that they did mine January, February, and March. If we add those numbers up, we are pretty close to what they reported. We were still at 19.7 million roughly compared to the 19.4 million. So we're off by 300,000 there. Not sure why that is. They might be calculating it differently than what I'm calculating. Basically, whatever you mine for the whole month, and then looking at the Bitcoin price at the end of that month. They might be doing it either daily, weekly. Not sure how they're calculating it, but obviously that has an effect on possibility of how that worked out. But still pretty good. Within 3%, that's pretty good. I want to be under 2.5% if I can. So we'll work on that, see if we can get that a little bit better. But with those numbers now intact, we're using the last 3 quarters, which is Q1, Q4, and Q3, plus the current quarter. We're looking to be at possibly 15.9 million roughly, with the way the Bitcoin price is right now at 29,988. And that all depends, obviously, what they install going forward into April. April, we already know what they installed, so they're 1.4 right now. In April, obviously, May and June will dictate if they go up in price. And obviously, Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up in price, they could obviously make more in Q2 than they did in Q1 of this year. So overall, great numbers by them. Good growth from last year, and that's what we want to see. And we can also see here that their hash rate growth has been kind of small. They had a nice growth here in February. March was pretty small. April was a little bit better, about double what it was in March. We want to see that close to that 200 petahash, if not higher, each month going forward, in order for them to get to that, 5.5, whatever they reported to be at the end of the year. So that's it. Stock price is at 291. I'm using the 12 price earnings multiple with 75% net income from gross revenue, and the stock price should be at $8.21 in my opinion. It is obviously being weighed down to $2.91 right now. It should be up much higher in my opinion. All right, so great job by Mawson on the first quarter. We'll see how the second quarter comes in, and let's take a look at Bitfarms here. So Bitfarms had a lot of information. We'll see if we can go through it all. Here we go. So Bitfarms mined 961 Bitcoin in Q1, which is a good number, at an average cost of 8,700 Bitcoin. So we know now, obviously it was a little bit lower in Q4, but at least we know it's between like the 8,000, 9,000 mark where they actually would be break even if Bitcoin were to fall that low. I don't think that's going to happen. That's going to fall that low, but at least we know where their break-even point is. So we do have plenty of room for Bitcoin to still be profitable with Bitfarms. Revenues improved to 40 million in Q1 2022, up 42% from 28 million in Q1. So that is also of 2021. So that is obviously pretty good growth. Not triple digits or anything like that, but it's still 42%. So that's good growth. Down here we have this is Geoff Morphy, Bitfarms president and COO. We have grown faster than the BTC network as our hash rate at quarter end was 2.7 exahash per second, up 22% from December 31, 2021. As of today, our hash rate is 3.4 exahash, representing about 1.5% of the market share, which is really good. They're obviously growing better here towards now because I have them at, we'll take a look at it, but they're saying 3.4. We'll see what I have them at. In the near term, we expect to exceed 4 exahash by June 30th, 2022. So another 600 petahash by June. So that's basically about a month and a half away from now, which would be good. And looking down here, what do we have? There we go. So 2022 quarterly hash rate targets based on current infrastructure construction and miner delivery schedules are. So 4 exahash as of June 30th, that's what they're planning at. 4.2 exahash as of September 30th, 2022. So there's going to be definitely a lull in the third quarter. They're only going to be growing by 200 petahash. And then looks like they're going to be really kicking things into gear in the fourth quarter, where they're going to be reaching possibly 6 exahash as of December 31, 2022. Miners and orders for miners with delivery scheduled in 2022, will be capable of producing up to 7.2 exahash when fully operational. That's if they get them all, obviously, by then. So opportunities are being evaluated and others will be assessed in Bitfarms' effort to provide the additional infrastructure and mining hardware to reach the company's 8 exahash goal by the end of 2022. So they have from 672, so they would have to get another 800 petahash worth of miners to get to that roughly. Then I got some updates on their facilities. What else do we have here? Operating income for Q1 2022 was $7 million compared to $16 million in Q1 2021. Q1 2022 net income was $5 million or 0.02 per basic and diluted share compared to a net loss of $8 million or 6 cents per share basic and diluted share in Q1 of 2021. So obviously they actually had a positive quarter here, which is good. Which is, we obviously, as investors, we're looking for that, for them to have the positive quarters. We knew that in the beginning they were going to be investing heavily into getting miners and everything else, but now they should be becoming profitable. And then here's their cost production per BTC trailing 12 months, rounded to the nearest 100. So Q1 of 2022 was 8.7 thousand. Q4 of last year was 8,000. Q3 was really low of 6.9. Q2 was pretty high, 9,000, and then Q1 was 8.4. So we're right in that range between basically 8,500 or so per quarter to mine Bitcoin, which is pretty good, in my opinion, on that. And let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them. So Bitfarms, I was really close with them as far as what they're reported and what I had them set at. So I'm really, really happy with that. So they reported 40.3 million. If we look, I believe they have it down here, further down in the sheet here. But there we go. So they reported 40.329 million in revenue. I was off by 0.53%, so less than a little bit more than 0.5%. I'm really happy with that. That came in great with my numbers on them, and that's because they do provide great numbers every month as far as what they're mining, what they're going through, what their exahash is, and that obviously helps out tremendously. And based on that information here, I have them right now at, with the price earnings 15 multiple because of their future hash rate, I think they should be closer to $10.10 roughly. They are obviously at $1.87. We know that right now Bitcoin is in a slump. We'll see if it can pull out of that slump, but they're obviously undervalued in my opinion. That's why, full disclosure, I have been buying Bitfarms, I've been buying Cleanspark, and I own Hive as well, and possibly looking to get into the other miners, but we'll see if cash flow allows it or not. I've been buying the dips, and the dips keep on coming, so it's getting harder and harder to buy the lower price dips even more. But we'll see if I can squeeze any money out of the piggy bank here. So that's it. So obviously, great quarter by Bitfarms. You know, it's kind of what we expected. Bitcoin's obviously come back down in price. We'll see if it continues going down into this quarter, second quarter. If that's going to happen, we may see, as far as quarterly results for Q2 for all these guys, might be even with where they are, even if they do grow, or they may come down a little bit because depending on where Bitcoin is, right? So with these guys, like with Bitfarms, they're mining approximately, 900 Bitcoins right now. Well, in April, they mined 400. So just think about this, 400 Bitcoins in a month would equate to, if price goes down just by 1,000, that's $400,000 in lost revenue there. But the same can be said true if it goes up 1,000. So now we're up 400,000 in just 1 month, which can obviously help tremendously. If we're up 5,000, now you're up almost $2 million in revenue. So it swings both ways when that happens. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Spreadsheet is available to Patreon members as always. Thank you to my Patreon members for their support. What else can I say? Oh, something I'm working on. Can be working on behind the scenes a little bit, working on possibly doing a miner awards for quarterly results as far as who mined the most, who had the who mined like the most Bitcoins per their hash rate, and some other things like that. And then we'll do maybe a video on that as well. So kind of trying to get some more data for you guys on that and come up with some little awards for the miners for that. Don't know what those are going to be, whether it's going to be a little plaque or it could be just a little JPEG file. So that's it. I think we have a couple more miners reporting. I think we have one tomorrow reporting. I can't remember who it is now. Their quarterly results. So we'll take a look at those, report on those as well. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin. Obviously, that's the big elephant in the room here. And we'll see what possibly happens with Luna. Looks like they might be forking it now. So we'll see. But that's it. I'm rambling on here. Got a lot to think about. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. You know the drill. Helps me out tremendously. That's all I ask of you guys. Have a wonderful night or morning, depending when you're watching this. And then have a great week. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.